Hey guys, this is Giles. So I want to be doing a battle report today. We're going to do 1500 points of fantasy. I'm going to be using a concept army that I'm currently at work at. It's actually using Empire rules to build a army of pirates, led by a pirate captain and his crew, hence the starting screen. I'm going to be going up against my wife's Wood Elves, and I'll review my army in just a minute. Remind you, this is not actually a strategic army. It's not meant for tournament play. It's not meant really even for winning. It's meant as just a concept I had come up in my head. I decided to build it for fun. So it's strictly a for fun army. And I'll go over it with you in just a minute. Army is going to be led by my captain. He is going to be using the role for Karl Franz on foot, with a rune fang. Sorry, I've not started painting him yet. And he is going to be my general. Next on the crew is my level 2 battle mage with the lore of heavens. I figure who better to work on a pirate ship than someone who knows the stars really well and can control the weather. So next on to my core. That's going to be all my hero choices today. I'm running a block of 20 halberdiers. I'm using chests of golds as the standard bearers. They also have a champion, but no musician. I couldn't find a GW model with an accordion. Next choice. One block of 20 swordsmen, shield and swords. One block 20 men-at-arms, just the standard mob of guys with 2 hand weapons. One block of 10 archers. These guys are stepping in as the scouts role per the fluff of the army. And last for the core is one block of 10 handgunners. Now off to specials. First special choice today is a block of 15 great swords. Once again, I'm using chests as standard bearers. This one does have a champion. And the last choice of my army is 2 cannons. So off to the Wood Elves. Leading my wife's Wood Elves today is going to be a Tree Man Ancient with the Lore of Life, sorry. Drika with a Lore of Shadows, and a level 1 caster with Lore of Heavens, an arrow, a bow, and the Arrow of Doom. I can't remember the name of it. It's whatever it is, it's going to hurt like heck. On to her core choices. She's running 10 birch style dryads without an upgrade. 5 glade riders with hagbane arrows. A squad of 15 glade guard and a squad of 10 glade guard, all with hagbane arrows and full commands. And her elite choice is going to be 3 treekin. Now, in case you haven't seen our battle reports before, we don't really care for the treekin models. Some do, we personally don't. So my wife actually uses bears as treekin. So this is just going to be 3 treekin with no upgrade. Now, let's set up the table. So today we're going to be fighting a meeting engagement. And I'm going to go over the table and deployment real quick. In the center of the table, and I assume what we're fighting over, is a wizard's tower. I guess the pirates have come to plunder it, and it's on the edge of a Tholoren, so the Wood Elves have come to stop us. On the right-hand side, we have your basic hill, swamp. We have that Tree of Woe is actually just a building, which has a unit of Glade Guard in it. Unit of 10 Glade Guard. Sorry, I had to get rid of that tape measure. Right here we have a normal marsh. Beside it we have the Tree Man Ancient, the 3 treekin, and the unit of dryads. Behind them is a ghost fence, which she chose not to use. On my right flank, I had to actually deploy my entire army first, which my whole army except for my great swords did come in. So on the right flank of the tower by themselves is the halberdiers, led by the general, the pirate captain. On the left flank, she got her free citadel wood that comes with the Wood Elves, and she's put 15 glade guard in it. On this side of it, I've got my unit of swordsmen And my unit of Free Company Militia, the wizard is joining the swordsman. That is just actually counting as a building. In this corner, we had a little village rolled up. Normal building, normal obstacle. The wood pile is counting as an obstacle. And this is counting as a tower of blood, giving my guys hatred, I believe it is. I'll double check that. And this is just another random building over here because we thought it fit the theme. And so off to first turn. So my pirates managed to go first. This unit quickly started running towards the Glade Guard, ready to get their butts kicked. This unit wheeled around the tower to get a view on the Dryads, and also bringing my wizard within 3 inches of the wizard tower, granting him its benefits. This unit backed up a little bit, just increased the range and hopefully cause a failed charge. My great swords moved in from the table, and the captain had just enough inches to run out of that unit and into this one. So on to my magic phase. I got 9 dice and managed to channel 1. She has 5 and managed to channel 1, so it's 10 versus 6. Let's see if I can get some spells off. Well, my wizard managed to get Chain Lightning off, killing off 4 of the Dryads, and in doing so, getting a miscast that blew up 6 of the swordsmen. So I'm not sure that was really a fair trade, but we'll see. And on to shooting phase. Only thing in range was 2 cannons at the tree man. First one landed 1 inch in front of him. The other one landed 2 inches behind him. So much for that. On to close combat. There is none. Wood Elf turn 1. Wood Elf movement phase. The wizard that I hadn't noticed was in that block of Glade Guard, ran out and tried to get a little bit farther away. And the other elves are knocking their bows looking at this unit here. The treemen, the bears, and the dryads all attempted to charge this unit of halberdiers. Only the treemen actually rolled high enough. The other 2 only rolled 5s, so they both moved up just a little bit with failed charges. And we're going on to the magic phase. Oh, this unit did not move, so on to magic phase. The winds of magic were fickle, and she only had 3 dice this turn to my 1, although I channeled up to 2. She cast Miasma at full strength on this unit of militia. I failed to dispel it, and she rolled a 2, so their weapon skill movement, the whole kit and caboodle, are reduced by 2. Not good on humans. So on to her shooting phase. So both the unit of Glade Guard here and the units in the tower fired all their rounds into my militia, thinning their ranks by quite a bit. So that's 9 dead out of 20. But they actually rolled a 6 for their leadership, so they're still holding in there. Now off to close combat and see how much damage a angry tree man can do to a unit of halberdiers. Well, the pirates are definitely some lumberjacks here, because they did way better than I expected. Some poor rolling on the tree man's side. He only killed 1 in close combat and killed 3 with stomps. I managed to actually get 1 wound off, but he made his scaly skin saves. So I rolled this. He won by 1. Rolled leadership and rolled a 2. So they're loving it and they're singing the lumberjack song. So on to pirates turn 2. So my general and the swordsman charged into the treemen to give the halberdiers some support. The swordsman with the wizard charged into the side of Drika's unit. They just marched forward, knowing I probably wouldn't make the charge and would just give the elves a free round of shooting at me. So they just marched forward to close the gap a little bit. And the archer is repositioned here, trying to encourage where the Glade Riders are going to come in next turn, if they come in next turn. So on to my magic phase. Due to some poor winds of magic and some great channeling, the Wood Elves actually had more dice than I did. I attempted to cast Blizzard on the Dryads and she easily dispelled it, so on to shooting phase. Both cannons fired at the treekin, or the bears. One impacted just in front of them again. That's twice that cannon has not bounced. The second one managed to shoot it, hitting two of them, doing 1 wound to one and 5 wounds to the other, blowing it off the tray. So on to close combat. So the swordsman failed to do any damage at all to the dryads, while the dryads managed to kill 2 swordsmen. Through combat res, I still won, but she made her leadership test and was able to reform to face me, so those swordsmen and my wizard are in deep trouble. Over here, things went slightly better, but not as well as I hoped. I managed to get 3 wounds off the tree men in return for just one halberdier, maybe 2. I won combat, but she made her leadership test, so now I'm positioned for a nice flank charge for some treekin. So should be interesting to see how things go next turn. On to Wood Elf turn 2. Wood Elf movement. The Glade Riders did not show up. The wizard over there moved over here where he's flanking the unit over that's in combat. And surprise, surprise, the bears flank charged into my great swords. So on to Wood Elf magic phase. Drika attempted to cast Miasma on the swordsman, and I blocked it. And then Tree Man went ahead and casted Throne of Vines on himself, giving him the secondary ability from Lore of Life, allowing him to heal 1 of his hit points, so now he's only down 2. On to shooting phase. I see the death of that unit imminent. So, both the High Elves in the forest and the tower fired at my unit of militia, killed all but the champion and the standard bearer. So the champion grabbed the pot of gold, or case of gold, and he's running for the hills. He rolled a 12 for his leadership. I don't think he's coming back. Okay, off to close combat. This is slowly grinding away into a bloodbath. So I managed to kill 1 dryad. She killed a handful of my warriors, still leaving me with 1 rank intact. And I made leadership. Over here, she really didn't kill too many guys with her rolls, but then her stomps came, killed off 2 great swords and 5 halberdiers. But I managed to make the leaderships and stay in there. So on to Empire's next turn, or Pirates next turn. Unsurprisingly, the champion here did not rally. He's still making a run for it with the gold. Now, I believe you hold on to the standard if you panic from shooting. It's when you break from combat, I think you lose it. If I'm wrong in that, go ahead and throw me a comment. Over here, my archers kind of spread out, also trying to funnel where the ambushers will come in if they're actually going to threaten my cannon teams. Just kind of opening up, kind of redirecting them if I can. And that's all I can move, because everything else is locked in combat. So let's keep fighting. So I got Conveyance off, allowing me to reroll all 1s to hit, to wound, and armor saves. And I managed to make the Dryads -1 to hit, so who knows if I can actually pass a fear test, because I failed every single one I've rolled this game. Maybe I might actually be able to do something. Alright. On to close combat. Or shooting. Don't forget cannons. 2 cannons fired at the wizard that was there, and it took both to kill him. The first one hit, and I rolled a 1 to wound, so he just knocked that one away with a baseball bat. But then the second one came and got him in the side, and he's now blood smear all over the carpet. So at least I did something this turn. Now on to close combat. So Carl actually managed to bring down the tree man. He killed a couple of my great swords. I did no wounds back. Through combat res, we actually ended up tying. So nothing happened there. I redirected to face a new foe. Over here, neither side managed to do anything. Due to the spells that I had on me, every wound I took, I managed to save due to some luck. But I was unable to do any wounds back either, so we continued just to fight it out. I actually won due to combat res, but she easily passed her leadership. So on to the Wood Elves next turn, and let's see if those riders show up. So the Glade Riders came in here, threatening the halberdiers. I guess they didn't want to mess with my fire base over there. Bears are still stuck in combat. Dryads stuck in combat. They hung out in their tower. The Glade Guard over here actually left the woods, trying to get the rest of my army into range, and on to Wood Elf Magic Phase. Magic Phase. Drika attempted to cast Miasma on the swordsman, but I was able to block it, so on to shooting. So the Glade Guard in the tower, combined with the newly arrived Glade Riders, managed to kill off 3 of the Halberdiers, but they managed to stick in there. They made their leadership test. The unit here fired into the handgunners, but due to some luck, they only actually lost 1 guy. So on to Wood Elf Close Combat. So I managed to kill 1 Dryad, she managed to kill 1 Swordsman, and I won by combat res because my standard, but she made her leadership test. We're still in there. Over here, Karl Franz managed to kill off 1 of the bears, and the bear managed to kill off a couple of my swordsmen in return. He made his leadership test, so we're still in there. So off to Pirates turn 4. The Halberdiers attempted to charge Drake and were short by 1 inch, meaning a failed charge, putting them where they're at. The archers ran over here, repositioned to try to get some shots in on the light cav, the Glade Riders. And the handgunners turned around. Now that I know where the Glade Riders are coming out, I'm not quite so concerned about them, so I'm going to face off against the Wood Elf archers. Silly thing to do, but what the hell. Magic Phase, I was able to get the spell off again so that he is -1 to hit in close combat. Alright, so what I didn't know is apparently these Wood Elves carried with them some mojo, because both cannons fired at them, both of them misfired, and both of them rolled a 6 on the table, so just neither get to shoot this turn. I'm actually picturing them coming out of the forest carrying little Christmas trees in front of them so that my gunners didn't notice them there and are playing cards instead. At least that's my best guess. But anyways, my archers here attempted to fire at the Glade Riders. Oops, sorry for that. You were looking up our horses anyways. And they failed to hit. So off to close combat. Let's see if I can kill something. So the captain managed to kill off the last of the treekin and is repositioned to face the druids, or dryads. Thought about facing the Glade Riders, but then he would just run circles around my poor captain and he'd get dizzy and fall over and probably land on his sword. So, fought the battle over here. Due to some lucky rolls on my part, she failed to do any wounds. And I managed to kill 2 dryads in return, but she made her leadership again, so the battle continues to drag on. So off to Wood Elf, turn whatever we're on now, I think number 4. Glade Guard moved 5 more forward to get a better line of sight and range on my handgunners. And these Glade Riders had something really spicy for dinner because they just rolled amazing and charged all the way across the table. My archers were so surprised they only managed to get one hit, which bounced right off the horse's noggin. So, on to Magic Phase. Draco managed to get Miasma off on the swordsman, so there goes my magical advantage. So off to shooting. Glade Guard here fired into my cannon and failed to get any wounds. But the Glade Guard here fired in and managed to kill off 3 of the Halberdiers, leaving them with only 4 guys strong. Now off to close combat, and even the cat agrees this is not looking good for the Halberdiers. So they managed to slaughter a couple of my swordsmen. I did nothing back, but I made my leadership test. Over here, these guys managed to kill my archers, me killing 2 of them in return. I broke, they overran them, and slammed into a fence. We're not sure if you stop at the fence or not with the overmarch. If you guys know, throw it down in the comments. I'm trying to move quickly, I don't want to look all the rolls up, so let me know. Thanks. My only movement was for both the Halberdiers and the Great Swords to charge into Drika's unit. This one guy, that I almost forget that he's there, failed his rally test. He needs insane courage and ran a whopping 5 inches, so he slowly, I guess that chest of gold is heavy, so he's just kind of limping towards the edge. Just go spend it at a brothel. So, on to my Magic Phase. Alright, so I got it where the Dryads are -1 to hit, and also the Pirate King's squad gets to reroll 1s to hit, to wound, and saves. So on to shooting. 2 grape shots from both cannons, and I still didn't manage to kill 3 Glade Riders. 1's left. So, and he made his leadership test, so this should be fun. And my handgunners fired over here and managed to kill off 2 Glade Guards. So on to close combat. So the Pirate King managed to kill Draika, and the Dryads did no damage back. One of the Great Swords managed to kill 1 more Dryad. 1 Dryad survives, broke from combat, and actually rolled an 11 for running. The Halberds almost got him, but not quite, so they're currently chasing him there. And that's all for close combat. Now for Woodell's turn. The remaining Glade Rider charged into the cannon crew to see if she can pick it off before leaving. The Dryad failed to rally and ran only 4 inches. The Glade Guard here and the Glade Guard here stood still for shooting. So there is no more Wood Elf magic, so we're going into shooting phase. The Glade Guard fired into the cannon, hoping for Hagbane death, and unfortunately didn't roll any 6s, so they managed to survive. The guys in the tower had much better time. They managed to wipe out the Halberdiers. So on to Wood Elf close combat. So, this one little horseman took on the cannon crew, killed 1 without them being able to hurt, and then they failed their leadership and ran right off the table. So that one guy isn't very, very annoying. Okay, so we're going to call it at this point due to time constraints. We'll tally up our victory points and let you know how things happen. Just kind of a quick review and cap. Over here, killed the archers as well as the cannon. What's left? They're still there. Branch Ray or Dryad that's running. Swordsman, great swords. Strange books and dice scattered everywhere. And that Olstramaku is still running. So off to victory points. So we tallied it up, and the Wood Elves managed to kill about 660 points of pirates, and the pirates managed to kill 1,000 points of Wood Elves. So it's a pretty good pirate victory. So this was their first game. Awesome. And thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed.